I'm 57 years old. I worked from the time I was 21 to the time I was 51 when I had the heart attack. It's not like I didn't work. I worked. And it's embarrassing when you have to put everything out on the table and say, well, this has happened to me, and I'm trying very hard right now, but I just can't get it together. And I don't have the wherewithal right now to get back to work, and I need to keep these bills. I don't have any family. That's another thing. A lot of people don't believe you don't have any family, and we don't have any family. I mean, we do, but they're not in our lives. They're not assisting us. And that part of it was very difficult for me. My mom died in 1983, and my dad died in August 1st, 1991. I was pregnant with him. He was born October 6th. From my father's death, I had Sharon, my sister Sharon. Once my dad died, I became her legal guardian. For 12 years, I took care of her. My father provided a stipend for her, like $1,100 a month. But that was for her. Nobody helped me. I have a brother who lived less than a mile away. I have a set of twins that are girls, sisters. Nobody called, nobody sent money. And then Sharon had a lot of physical issues. I needed a bigger bathroom. And I took my IRA money and I did that. I put that into the house. So I had no more of my own pension. I started losing money in 2000, and then by 2002 they had foreclosed on me. I couldn't make up the months I had been behind. I couldn't catch back up, and nobody would help me. Once I lost my home, they came in and they took Sharon and put her in an assisted living facility and never said nothing to us. They just let us, so we were homeless for 8 months. And we lived in a shelter on the south side of Chicago in a very, very, very bad neighborhood. There were shootings at night. You could smell the gun smoke, the gunpowder. You could smell it at night. There were times you literally had to crawl around because there was so much gunfire around. So as a young man, he's been through a lot. I mean, 11-year-old, lost his house, and then on the streets with his mother, with nobody from his family helping him. Nobody.
I felt like my years before 10 was easy, and it should be for a child. It was in the shelter. It was all women's shelter. They had children. I was like a year away before I couldn't be with my mother at the shelter. It wasn't really kept very nice, and it wasn't clean at all. I was itchy like crazy. I was walking my mother. We were getting off the bus from a doctor's office, walked to the shelter, and 5 youths jumped me. They hit me over the head, and my mother chased them away. And they knew I was just a boy, and they were like 18, 20 years old. I went to the hospital. There wasn't much, just a bruise. And that's when my OCD tendencies came through after losing the house and this issue at the shelter. My mom bought me a gift for my birthday, and she had very little money, but she did it anyways. It was like a Game Boy, and they kicked us out for that. So my mom called a friend, and we moved back to the south side, not too far from our old neighborhood. She got a better job. He helped us get an apartment from his friend that's a landlord, and we obviously paid rent. He was something about him that wasn't right with my mother. He did not like the fact that she was taking care of herself. He seemed sexist in a way. He liked everybody else that was with a relationship. I don't know, it was just weird. That was the first time, too, I've also seen how my mom was being put down by somebody that gets intimidated by a woman, a single mother, that takes care of her family.
It's very difficult to ask for help sometimes because it's a debasing situation. You have to first of all go in and show your income, give them the reason why, and many times you have to go from the trustees to, they give you a church to go to, and they usually give you $50. And then you have to go somewhere else, and they might give you $100. And you're trying to get $670. I understand that that's how it's done, and that's just the way it is, and not everybody has $670 to get, but it's just a very debasing situation to go, and then you have to explain it over and over again each time you walk into these places why you have to do it and the reason why you're doing it. Most people, I have to say, are very kind, but a lot of times people will roll their eyes and look at you like, yeah, right, you mean you can't go out and find a job? I rented a house in Valpo, and we were there for 3 years. I had a heart attack and became very sick. I couldn't afford the rent there anymore. And a neighbor that on Beach Street told me that if you need help with your rent, trustee's office, they may be able to help you. So I called them up and made an appointment and kept the appointment and went in, and they told me that Housing Opportunities may be able to help me to contact them and see if there's anything that they can do. And I was fortunate enough and blessed enough that they were able to help me, because we would have been on the street otherwise.
When she had her open heart surgery, they helped her very quick. She had no insurance. And this was the time where they shut off the water on us for $50. And I had 3 cats. So I had to go to 7-Eleven, get some water, visit her, bring water back to give cats the water. And when she got out of the hospital, one of the child support checks came through, and we had to go to pay the water bill. Yeah, it's a never-ending cycle.
I'm definitely emotionally more stronger, but it also makes you more emotional. So you're a little bit more vulnerable, where you see someone we would see that poor guy in Portage walking on the street, and the poor guy his neck is like this. And I always would say to Andy, that poor guy, I wonder how the heck he gets around. So you learn to be more empathetic when you see things that I think about walking around all the time like this, how terrible that must be for that guy. So you learn to put yourself in that person's shoes, which I think we all need to learn a little bit more.